Greetings, fellow men of culture. As always, I'm broadcasting live from the peak of Thundercock Mountain. Like the 100th time my wife tries to intimidate me by threatening to finger my grandma, the video game industry is out of new ideas. It's not the same type of recycling old ideas that Hollywood suffers from, which is race-swapping beloved characters, putting a chick in it and making it lame, though video games do that too. Gaming is in a unique position where, at least for a few console generations, visual technology made massive leaps. Leaps as big as my wife actually trying to convince me she could finger my grandma. Nobody fingers her but me. Such frequent jumps in audio and visual quality made customers and developers curious as to what older games could look like with the newest in game development tools and technology. This question started getting answered in the 7th generation of consoles. Really quick, I want to thank this video's sponsors, my channel members. Thank you for your belief in the channel, I truly appreciate your support. If you like what I do, please consider a membership and join us on the HD 2D remake of Thundercock Mountain. With fancy new HD textures and resolutions inside of our magic moving picture boxes, publishers like Sony took advantage of the low development costs of re-releasing HD collections of older games, and started squirting these things out left and right. A quick upscaling pass and publishers could release these games on newer platforms in compilation form. This was a pretty cool novelty back in 2010. You could play some of your favorite games without them looking like there was jizz smeared all over your screen, bypassing the need to keep old consoles hooked up in case you wanted to play some of these games. This trend continued for a few years, with select titles getting the HD treatment and made playable on whatever was the current console at the time. Then we got some more, and even more. And now the only thing we can really look forward to is remasters or remakes of old games. We started getting remasters of games that definitely don't need it. The Last of Us got a PS4 remaster that looks nearly identical, then a PS5 remake that looks marginally better. Horizon Zero Dawn got a remaster, and same thing. Looks and plays nearly the same. Zero Dawn is a PS4 game that came out in 2017. It's a modern video game. Sony wasn't bringing this up from the Stone Ages or anything. It was made well into the HD era. Silent Hill 2 got a laughably sad remaster that replaced the ranch sign text with Comic Sans. Tales of Berseria recently got a remaster that's damn near the exact same game. Some of the games that get these remasters are beloved titles that may deserve it, like Final Fantasy Tactics or Onimusha, but the massive amount of these things we get points to a few gaping butthole problems that the gaming industry is facing right now. First of which is the complete lack of fresh ideas that gamers want to spend money on. This one in particular is confusing to me since it seems easy enough to make brand new games with the same sensibilities that make these remasters so popular. But for whatever reason, AAA studios somehow can't figure out we don't want quirky Marvel jokes, skill trees, or squeezing through cracks in walls while characters announce their every thought out loud. Like my 5-year-old son shedding racial slurs whenever I enter the room. What we're left with is an audience that wants brand new experiences, new characters, evolutions of old franchises through new games and sequels, but the best thing we get are remasters and remakes of games made 10 years ago and before. 343 Industries, now Halo Studios, is a great example of this. For some reason, despite being gifted one of the most successful smack your horse's wiener franchises in all of not just gaming but media as a whole, somehow couldn't make a decent Halo game. Just to set the precedent, Halo 3 was a massive cultural event. At the time of its launch, it was the biggest entertainment launch in history. Halo was such a juggernaut, all Halo Studios had to do was put out a turd on a plate with a little bit of polish. But they couldn't even do that. Every subsequent release in the series has been met with more apathy, even from longtime Halo fans. Halo Infinite was such a nothing fart in the wind. The only thing Halo Studios can do to keep the series relevant at all is to completely remake the stuff that was already done back in 2001 on the original Xbox. Given over 10 years and who knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars, the most exciting thing Halo Studios is working on is Bungie's 25-year-old Halo campaign. The same thing is happening at Ubisoft, one of the most infamous studios when it comes to recycling the same game mechanics with massive budgets and needlessly massive open-world checklist games, is having to revisit their back catalog to keep the company alive, since none of their new stuff is selling very well. It's incredible that Ubisoft moved away from the yearly conveyor belt Assassin's Creed releases to a more spread out schedule, and every new entry still feels exactly the same as the last. Huge, meaningless skill trees that barely change the way you play, loads of nebulous gear, where the only thing you check is whether the numbers go up or down, regardless of what stats are actually on it. Just like other big publishers that can't figure it out, Ubisoft's most anticipated upcoming titles are older ones. The smidgen of hype the Assassin's Creed series has managed to muster since at least Origins was at the announcement of a remake of the 4th entry in the series, Black Flag. Between October 2013, when Black Flag originally came out, and today, there have been 8 mainline games in the series. and the only one anybody cares about is Black Flag. For 13 years, Ubisoft has yet to top the love that fans of the series have for this game. The same goes for Ubisoft's often ignored dumpster baby, Rayman. The newest game in the series is a remake of the previous game in the series, Rayman Legends. Ubisoft didn't even bother making a single Rayman game for the last 13 years before reintroducing the series through a remake. On the AAA side of the industry, there is no longer such a thing as a modern classic. None of these games hit the same way the games that are getting remasters did when they first came out. I don't think gamers are going to be clamoring for a God of War Ragnarok remake 10 years from now. They are excited for a remake of the original trilogy, of which every game has already been remastered. Then 10 years after the remakes come out, Sony can remaster those, because God of War stopped being itself after the third game came out. Which leads me to the second problem of publishers relying so much on remakes and remasters. We're hitting hard diminishing returns on graphical fidelity. If the gaming industry is out of ideas now, they're going to be relying on remasters to fill out their release schedule in the future even more. When the time comes to remaster God of War Ragnarok for the PS6, what are they going to do? Put Norse God Edition on the box art and just release the PS5 edition again? Or maybe change the hue of some of the lamplights? Nobody is begging Ubisoft to remake Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and newer games in the series generate more mockery than hype, so I guess Ubisoft can nearly map out their own demise at this point. I understand why we get so many re-releases of old games. Regardless of if it's a remaster or a full-on remake from the ground up, it's far cheaper to recycle an older, proven successful title than make a new one. These games have a built-in audience from the original release, so there's far less risk in making a profit on these games. With development costs getting ever higher as time goes on, it's tempting for publishers to put out a safe bet to make some money in between bigger releases. This is just a rumor, but apparently Gears of War E-Day cost $400 million to make. That is an obscene budget for a game that doesn't look like it's going to make its money back. It's an Xbox exclusive, so no PS5 sales, and it's going to launch on Game Pass. With budgets that ridiculous, it's no wonder we get a re-release of a remaster of the first Gears of War game. I'm surprised we haven't gotten remasters of the entire original trilogy already, the only games in the series worth playing in my opinion. I think it's only a matter of time though. As for how I view all these remasters, I'm kind of in the middle. I treasure older releases from about 2015 and before, far more than anything that's come out in the last 10 years. My channel is even named after how I feel about gaming in general right now, so I don't mind getting remastered titles here and there. I know in some cases they're a cash grab, but I would still rather play an upscaled release of the original Fable that runs on modern graphics cards than the embarrassing trash the series is peddling in its new game. It makes me wonder, is this really it? Maybe the gaming industry has been so infested with brain-dead activist writers and designers that the absolute best stuff the industry can muster was made over 10 years ago, and the only thing we can look forward to is slightly upgraded re-releases of those games. The indie scene is really pushing the creative side of the medium for far cheaper than any AAA studio can even dream of, so we still have that. My biggest worry is these same activist game devs sticking their nasty little fingers into these older games. We already saw Square Enix try to sneak in the stupid body type A and B stuff into the Dragon Quest III remake, despite the item description still saying certain armor is only equipable by male and female characters. This has me worried about the changes and censorship we'll see even in Japanese games like the Persona 4 remake. I absolutely love Persona 4, and one of the few titles I'm looking forward to is the remake. But I have to approach it with trepidation because the English release will almost certainly have some sort of censorship or cringe millennial translations. I can see the modern translators going crazy with the kanji story arc, maybe even going so far as to make Naoto actually trans. I wouldn't put it past them. The gaming industry is headed right into a massive crash at the rate it's going. Development costs are unsustainably high, customers have less trust in new games' level of quality. What we're left with is a high number of remasters and remakes of games that modern developers can't even fathom creating today. I'm not sure if that's really a good thing or not, but I guess time will tell. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.